All right, let me just share my screen with you. So, okay. Just a minute here. Can everybody see this?
Sure can.
Awesome, okay. Let's try that again. I was born before 2000, so I'm learning to be more tech savvy here. Okay. Try this one more time. Anybody have any ideas?
There a play slideshow?
Present. Mason, go back to view and then click present.
Oh, perfect. Yay.
Top one. Top.
Just a minute. All right. Personal development and what it means for you. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about tonight is bringing value to the marketplace. So Jim Rohn says, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. In other words, the more valuable you become as an actual person, the more money you will make, because we get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. Now, if that's, I don't know if that's something you've realized yet, but that's definitely how it works in America. This isn't an issue necessarily of you as a person and if you are valuable as a human being, but more so the work that you're doing specifically. So that's why, you know, you might have somebody that is has to clean the floors or clean the bathrooms. Well, they're going to get paid a certain amount, not because they're any less valuable as a person, but just specifically about bringing value to the marketplace. So this same thing applies with Herbalife. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And the cool part about this, you guys, is you can go to school for years, but eventually there's some sort of a limit. You get to that PhD and your education is done and you're roughly going to make the same amount. But the cool part with this is with personal development, you can never stop growing. You can always continue to grow and always be adding more and more value. And when it says value to the marketplace, it means, are you touching people's lives and making a difference? And the more people's lives you touch, the bigger, the more you're going to get paid.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty precise view. Okay, now I'm going to clip you.
Okay, continued growth. So we must continually grow and educate ourselves long after we graduate high school or college. It's been said that when you stop learning, you stop living. I know that I don't know how many of you went to college, but I know for me, at first when I graduated college, myself and a lot of my friends would say, whew, we're finally done learning. I don't have to learn anymore. I'm never going to do a paper again. But that's really not necessarily the right mindset, because when you stop learning, you stop living. So changing your thinking and sharpening your personal development skills can help you in a variety of ways. It can help you to become more valuable, like we talked about, helps you grow your Herbalife business, and it can allow you to take it to the next level. So if you want to earn money, learn to become more valuable and share that knowledge with others. So why personal development? Personal development equals growth. How high does the tree grow? As high as it can. Every living thing must grow to its full potential. Humans are no exception. I've kind of heard this another way before as well, is that every being, every living thing that exists lives to its fullest potential, but for some reasons, humans don't. Now, there's definitely some good things about that, because obviously we have morality and different things like that can keep us in check. But at the same time, we could live to our fullest potential, but often we get in the way. So we must continue to do personal development, because we have the ability and the right to grow as much as we can, and we must grow. All right, let's take a look at lottery winners and thermostats as an example. So our bank account will never outgrow our personal development. It may take spikes, but it will always even out. So let's think of lottery winners. So you hear that somebody wins the $10 million lottery. So they make that money, they're all excited, they're all happy, and within a couple of months, they start spending it, and check back with them maybe 6 months, a year later, maybe 2 years at most, and a lot of them are right back where they started. If we want to increase our bank account, we must increase personal development. So these guys that had that lottery bucket, the lottery money, they had the money, but their personal development didn't match that $10 million check. And because of that, their personal development cost them that money. Another example, think of a thermostat. Your personal development is set to your point. The heat will always bring you back to your set point. Same type of thing. You're never going to make more than your personal development, wherever your personal development is at. And if you do make more, it's only going to be a matter of time where it goes back to that set point. So it's vitally important that we increase our personal development. All right, attracting success. Be Mark Hughes. Be the founder of the company. So this can bring itself about in a variety of ways. How you carry yourself. Head high, powerful posture, good and continuous results. We want to continue to be getting results as coaches, because if we're not getting results we're not seeing it ourselves, how can we expect to help other people? We need to be thinking about how we dress. So we've talked a little bit before about events, that we want to dress nicely at the events, but this also needs to be day to day. So there's two sides of this, I would say. On one side, if you dress nice for the event, but you don't dress like a coach on a day-to-day basis, people see that and they're not attracted to that because they don't see you as a coach. Another way too of saying it is when you go to the events, that's kind of the sort of the talking the talk piece. That's easy because you're there with all these other coaches, but what are you doing outside of that on a day-to-day basis? Are you walking the walk? And then the flip side of it as well is not only does this pertain to how people see you, but the way you dress pertains to how you see yourself. So you might not have thought about this really much before, but you might dress super nice for the events, but then when you dress and ripped up stuff on a day-to-day basis, I would challenge you to ask yourself, how are you viewing yourself? Are you viewing yourself as that person that's successful in Herbalife, or are you viewing yourself as the person who's just kind of doing this as a hobby? You're not very confident about what you're doing. You're just comfortable with whatever's going to happen. So think about it. Two sides, how people see you, but also how you see yourself. This is part of how we attract success, is by starting with ourselves. How do we view ourselves? What is our image? This also pertains to how we talk. So swearing, occasionally things are going to come out of your mouth. That happens, but how does that pertain to when you're around other people? So another person might totally not be into swearing at all, and they hear you, they see you swearing, and that just totally just turns them off, and they don't want to have anything to do with you. And we want to be as open and welcoming to as many people as we possibly can. And so we want to be careful with our language. We want to be positive. Besides swearing, we don't want to be negative with our talking. Don't say things that aren't appropriate to say at work. Keep it clean in person and on social media. Don't use social media as a place to just spill your guts out and be negative. And another thing too, we don't think about as much is don't talk about being sick. Even if you are sick, don't talk about being sick, because that's not necessarily going to encourage that person either. So remember, you're representing yourself by your actions. You're representing Herbalife. You're representing the team, and you're representing the nutrition club that you're working out of. So nothing questionable on social media and nothing questionable in your attitude. All right. The next part I want to focus on is the power hour. And I specifically want to talk about this because I know for many of us, we're doing the Herbalife business in addition to another job. So we need to find time to be able to get the work done. Now, the problem is that we're doing this part-time, but if we don't have a plan in place, we can start to treat it like a hobby. And this is really where the power hour comes in. So at some point in the day, typically in the morning for myself, we're going to do this power hour. And this separates into 4 categories. This is 15 minutes of personal development, 15 minutes of follow-up with your clients, any team members that you have, 15 minutes of recruiting, future clients, talking to your friends, talking to your center of influence and saying, hey, I've been doing this Herbalife thing. I absolutely love it. You should come check it out, see the opportunity. And then 15 minutes of retail, letting people know about your results and helping people get amazing results. So the really cool part about the power hour is sometimes we get kind of scared. We think about all the things that we need to get done during the day and we go, man, I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that. But the great part about the power hour is this is a small example that if you really write things down and you take the time to think, how long should this actually take me? You would be amazed to see how much you can actually get done in 15 minutes, how much you can get done in 30 minutes, how much you can get done in an hour, simply when you take a section of time, and you dedicate it to a specific action. So that's really where the power hour comes in. Start your day off strong, especially important if you're working part-time. All right, so action items. Order the Energy Bus by John Gordon and read chapters 1 through 8. 3 trial packs out this week, and we're gaining momentum. At the end of this week, you should have 1 to 2 new clients for the month. So to delve into this a little more deeply, one of your action items last week was to sit down with your sponsor, your mentor, and to map out the month. Map out specifically your volume for the month. So what helps though with this is now that you know wherever your volume is, what helps is if we could break it down even more to make sure that we are in progress, that we're working towards that goal. You may have heard this before, that we don't want to be working those last 2 days before the end of the month and we're just struggling, pushing for that remaining volume. We want to be working from the beginning of the month strong to the end of the month. So let's say your volume goal for the month is 1,000 volume points. All right, so we're about 6 days into the month. So by the end of this week, we should roughly be 1/4 of the way towards our volume goal. So if your goal is 1,000 volume points for the month, by Friday, by the end of this week, you should roughly be at 250 volume points. Same thing the next week, keeping yourself on track, another 1/4 of the way there. Next, schedule your power hour on your calendar for each day this week. This is really, you guys, this is the difference between this being a hobby and something that is actually going to be successful, a successful business. Write out the top 3 areas or skills you would like to get better at through personal development and share with mentor. And I want to encourage you on this. When it's talking about the top 3 areas, really look at yourself and ask, what are the areas that I need to get better at? So one typical area is I need more motivation. I need to learn how to be more positive during the day, how to express gratitude. Another area of personal development might be I need to be better at talking to people. So those are just some suggestions, but ask your coach, come to your coach and say, hey, do you have a suggestion about a book of how to get better at talking to people? Or, do you have a suggestion on a book of like money management? Little things like that. Those are all areas of personal development. And in fact, I would encourage you, seek to find variety in your personal development, because we can always be growing. And then finally, register for December STS ticket if you have not done so already. I've heard that there's currently, and it might even be more, but there's currently 3 President's Team members that are actually in our region that are going to be speaking at the STS training, local President's Team members. So you definitely do not want to miss this. And now I will unshare my screen with you guys so I can see your faces. If I can find you here. All right, you guys, now is the time because we got a little bit of time left. Any questions? Anything at all?
Mason, for the action items, it was order the energy bus. For the people that are, this is only our second call, are we just supposed to read 4 through 7 then for the 12 Pillars book then?
Correct. Good question. Other questions?
Walk it off.
It's an ugly sweater party at the STS. Just saying, you guys. So prepare your ugly sweaters.
Woohoo!
So we're not joking. Like your formal wear, like you'd wear to an SDS, but you're wearing an ugly sweater. Everybody's gonna be doing it.
Awesome. Any
Are
other
you guys putting on the peer pressure?
Of the ugly sweater? Yes.
Yes.
Any other questions, you guys? Is this helpful? Was this class helpful?
Yes, it was. Thank you, Mason.
Any anything out of the entire presentation that you felt like personally, maybe just in like a short statement or two that you think you want to be able to work on more specifically?
I'll share.
Okay.
I was reading the 12 Pillars book this morning, and it actually, you commented on it too about how the human beings are the only race that puts a barrier on how far we can actually grow. And I often find myself limiting myself. Oh, I can't do that because this, or I don't think I can, and I put these limitations on myself that I don't want to put on myself anymore. I want to be able to grow as high as I can and not put limitations on myself anymore. So, and you just reiterated that again tonight and made me go, yeah, I think that's God just working with me and saying, hey, this is for you, Sherry. You read it today. Now Mason's telling you that tonight. So that's one of the things we're working on, Kyle, okay?
Awesome. Anybody else? Anything that kind of like smacked you in the head that you're like, man, I need to be better at that?
Yeah, I'll go. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So sorry, I jumped on a little late. So like something I was actually thinking about today, because I felt like super rushed and kind of all over the place. It was like, I realized I'm like, oh, I'm not working on myself. I'm not working on my personal development. And I was like, oh, I know I need to do that. But like, just because I know it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. So like hearing that in the call and just like kind of reiterating that and like breaking it down to me was like, okay, kind of what Sherry was saying, like a slap in the face, like, okay, I knew I needed to do it, and now it's being reiterated and supported to me again. And so like just planning it out, and I know Julie tells me that all the time. It's just like a nice reminder to be like, you knew it, now they're telling you to do it, now like restart and really work on yourself, because like you said, your business is going to grow if you grow. So that was really nice to hear. Thank you for covering that today.
You know, you guys, one thing that's really interesting is it was a couple of Fridays ago when there was this special event with Heather Halsey. And one thing that she mentioned, she talked about is you have these people that are they're farther down in the marketing plan. They're at the level of president's team. And the reality is, though, they're doing the same actions that we're all doing. Like they really are. They're still doing the basic invitations, the basic invites. But the difference between them and where we're at right now is their personal development. And so that's really the key there is we're continuing with our actions, but we're making sure that our personal development is growing there too. Because like it was said earlier, if our personal development doesn't get better, we honestly, I don't think we can ever expect to see us truly growing in the marketing plan. So I like to say that we're given what we're able to handle. If we're not able to handle it, we're not given it. So that's kind of, I don't know, that was sort of a cool thing to hear from her. Any other?
That's exactly what stuck out to me too, Mason. It's like your growth in your business is directly tied to your personal development. So if you want your business to grow, then your personal development has to grow, and how closely they're tied together and directly correlated. It's like that business won't grow unless you're doing personal development. So the most you can do for your business is to be in personal development daily. Love that. Thank you.
Anything else that smacked you on top of the head? You know, and let personal development do that to you. I think the problem is we can make personal development something that's cheesy and just like a simple, like, oh, that's a nice quote that we got off of Google or something. Or we can actually let personal development be something that deeply pulls out the weeds, you know, and gets the soil right. So that would be what I would challenge all of us. Don't just listen to the things that sound nice to us, but really try to seek and listen to the things that are going to get us out of our comfort zone and make us grow. Cool? All right. Well, if you think of anything else, message your mentors, talk to them, ask them. But definitely make sure you go through those action items and ask your coaches, what are the 3 areas in 3 books maybe that I would be able to grow in and start learning from. So cool. All right, you guys, I'll let you go. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mason.
Thank you very much.